Listen, 100%. That guy is the greatest bullshit artist I've ever heard. I don't know if he believed it, but boy, did he say it. And he was.
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're here. Hey, look at that. Hey, it's working. I like when it works. It's frustrating when it doesn't work. When stuff works, it's better than when it doesn't work. I'm just saying, if I had to choose between those two things, and sometimes I do have to, I would choose when stuff works. It's just good. And also, welcome to our big massive dumps.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big massive dumps.
This is a show where we're gonna ping pong back and forth between Trump's speech to the. We're gonna be searching for a soundbite in this. He said something and most people didn't know, and I'll see if you can. I'll just let you guys spot it when he says it. But and thank you. I'm glad you like the jacket. It's a little chilly in here, and I was in a bit of a hurry, and I was wearing the same shirt I wore for the morning show, and I thought that's kind of rude, and so I did what I can. Can I just jump right in? And by the way, say hi, chat room. Don't forget, chat room. Hit that like right now if you like the show in general, and you're optimistic that you'll like this one. I think that you will. I feel good about it. I feel all right. All right. So hit that like. That bounces us up into that row of like live now shows and moves us to the front of the thing. So, which is better than being at the back of the thing.
You could say it's a back door, but I call it a smart door.
It's I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but that's just true. Johnny Million got 61 likes today. What's up? We're going to clear 100. We're going to clear 100 for him on the regular, and it's going to be great. From Scotland, looking forward, because if it's not Scottish, it's crap. Yeah. The hydrosonic, I call it super duper. I pronounce Christopher Columbus.
Christopher, huh?
Yeah, just remember, Biden's on a fade.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
All right. And also, you know what? I haven't even checked. I've been so busy doing show stuff. Let's see. That's a crazy thing. Hold on. We might have to go to, let's see, have we hit it? Did we hit it? Oh my God. 16 more subscribers and we're at 60,000. I think you can do it tonight. Somebody keep an eye on that because I think we're going to do it. By God and by golly. I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but super chats actually help boost the show up in the algorithm as well. Because they're like, oh, not only do they like this guy, but they want to buy him a cup of coffee. I heard that somewhere inside my own head. So just, yeah, you just pronounce Christopher Columbus differently. Yes, Christopher.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years.
It's here for the Ass Force.
Not since the Ass Force.
Not since the Ass Force. And of course, the ass
It's
force.
a back door, but I call it a smart door.
That's up to you. There's a lot of, things you can do with the ass force.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
I know that. You don't have to ask.
Moon River.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time? Okay, now, we'll get to that in a minute, but chat room, if I may, and thank you guys for hitting that like and all that kind of stuff and subscribing. I think we're going to hit it tonight. I just feel good about it. My nipples are hard. I'm excited. This is going to be good. Thanks, Mary. I will appreciate the cup of coffee. Even when it comes to the Sexy Liberal San Francisco show that's coming up, that we're announcing the thing tomorrow, I'm going to be on Stephanie Miller's show during the 8 o'clock hour to promote. And let's see, what else? Oh, the 23rd, Nerd Halen at the Whiskey. I'll remember to promote my own shit one day. I'm too busy doing a show to tell you about my other shows. It happens. What am I going to do? Anyways, right off the bat, I want to thank Andrea and our most powerful, the backbone of the show, CSL, Can't Stop Lying, for supplying me with clips I haven't seen already, because he knows that I absorb so much of this shit. It's very difficult to hunt down stuff I haven't seen yet. And I know now to avoid some things, just so I'm not stepping on his toes, so that you and I can experience a lot of this dumb fuckery for the first time together. Now, if I may, you guys will, hold on. Yeah, you guys will recall this dipshit, right? Look at the title of this. Can you tell, ladies and gentlemen, I was stand over here and see if you can, 3.5 years into this horseshit, if you can explain to me what it is about this title that I might find hilarious / irritating. I'll be over here working them out amongst yourself. Have you figured it out yet? Because I know you have. James Comer. I can confirm this looks like money laundering. Oh, can you now? I can confirm that this looks like money laundering. Okay, asshole. All right, that's okay. I'm sorry. That's, normally we would dip. To who? Because I got news for you, fucko. Doesn't look like money laundering to me. And technically, I don't actually believe it looks like money laundering to you. You're just hoping it does. You dumb shit. I can confirm. Fuck you. I can confirm this looks like money laundering. God damn. Could they possibly pick a worse point person for this horseshit? Fucking A. Yeah, right. Exactly. See, looks like again. Say you can confirm that it looks like. Tell me what it looks like again. Tell me what it looks like again, motherfucker. Say looks like again. Huh? Say looks like again. Looks like. You can confirm it looks like? You dumb mother. Say looks like again. Fucking hell. God damn, that's I can confirm this looks like money laundering. Motherfucker, it's been 3 goddamn years. Okay, now, where do we even start? Holy shit. Now, we have, it's the end times. We'll save that for the end. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, God, even worse. Oh, this is hideous. Okay, let's just, I'll tell you what. This is going to bring out the cupcake in me. You know it. Greg Kelly, there's a lot of evidence of real corruption. There's a lot. There's a lot A lot. It's a good thing it's Greg Kelly and not Tom Brokaw. There's a lot of corruption in the Biden family. A lot. Yeah, a lot. I don't know if she was a stripper, but we'll find out. We're probably not going to watch all of this because it's a bunch of fuck around. We'll see. Anyways.
All right, you probably heard about it by now. The big indictment, the second one, the third one of Hunter Biden. He would seem to be in big trouble to the amateur eye.
Wait, we cover this already? He just renamed this fucking clip and released it again? Eat shit. Okay, I'm not going back over he's saying the same stuff. All right, where was it? Okay. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay, hold on. And I'm going to bring this guy. We'll get to you, Eric Matax's ass, in just a second. But first, we have to jump into here.
They say, I got this guy. I got him.
Okay. Let me, where we last left our dipshit former president, he was talking about how he'd only be a dictator for one day, and Sean Hannity was helping him do cleanup, and how people don't know he's even in his car because the windows are so dark. And we're just gonna jump around in this shit because we can needle drop into some dumb fuckery with this guy. I'm not worried that we will not, in the first 35 seconds, find some blowhard bullshit to laugh about. Now, hold on. All right, so hold on. He's telling a big story. Also, can I just say, one of the things he didn't point out at the Young Republicans gathering is that the front row is full of people like Steve Bannon and that ilk. Hardly young and definitely, questionably Republican at this point, just maggot soldiers. And the majority of this, from what I've seen of the two clips that were posted, which is him kind of defending his dictator comments and whatever, is he blathers on for a long fucking time with this. And it's because he feels like it's like a chit chat session with some of his, his sycophants, like Steve Bannon, because he keeps referencing them in the crowd. Here you go. Yeah, this is the locker room talk area, but.
To me, sir, I've been on the battlefield many.
Yeah, that's that guy. Okay, so that's where he was.
Locker room talk, what?
Right, so this is right after locker room talk. Most of you have seen the locker room talk
What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk. That was not a great.
Yeah, it was not a great excuse. It was not a great moment. It was fucked up. Notice how he bails out of it. Like, he starts to tell the story and then just goes, oh, fuck, I'm reminding everyone what a, misogynist fucking pig I am.
And, I dropped 11 points.
Yeah, and you think you would have learned your fucking lesson.
11 points, and then after the debate, I went up 13 points. You remember that? I went boom, boom. It looked like somebody with a really bad heart.
Yeah, that's because the other people running for the Republican nomination at that point did so poorly that there were some people just pull the pin on this fucking grenade before we get Jeb Bush in there.
It went like this, bing, bing. It was a little gap. In fact, to this day, people say, what the hell was this event? I can tell you, but we won't get into it.
Yeah, but we won't get into it. He knows he should be embarrassed by it, and yet he won't be.
But that was an incredible event, but it was an incredible campaign.
Yeah, it was an incredible event. The event he's talking about where the Access Hollywood tape came out and people heard him saying he just grabs women by the pussy and he can do it because he's a star and they let you. And then he was just going to start kissing this woman before she even said hello. Right.
And we won, and nobody thought we could win. Nobody thought any Republican could win. And now they're starting to say we can. The Washington Post had us 11 points up. And they said, this is an outlier. They paid $1.5 million for a poll. And they said their own.
No, by the way, he paid $1.5 million for a
own poll is an outlier. I said, this is so then they had it rechecked and it turned out to be 12 points. You know that. They haven't announced it. So we're going to give it a shot. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen enthusiasm like I've
Enthusiasms.
seen right now, Steve. There's never been enthusiasm. You know,
Yeah, we may not have the numbers, but boy, are these fuckers loud and mad.
we did great with one. We did better with two, but
He means the elections in order, the first election and the second election.
there's never been anything like this. And Gavin, I will tell you, in writing down, and I was just asking Secret Service, how the hell do they know I'm in the car? Because we have windows this thick. They're like really good.
Yeah, but they're also see-through. They're tinted, but they're not completely opaque, you fucking moron. Because it's dangerous to have completely blacked out windows. You could, if the light hits right and outward, like they can see out very well because they have to threat assess. Like this fucking guy.
Very good. I have guys walking up to that thing. If they held a little thing, I'd say, go ahead, shoot. You know what happens? The bullet bounces back and kills them. That's what I got him. They say, I got this guy. I got him. Go ahead and shoot. Here I am. Shoot. Bing, bong. That's the end.
Jesus Christ. What a fucking idiot. So this, first of all, what does this story really tell us? Besides that he's a child and completely incapable of adult thought. He's also scared of assassination right now. Do I smell burnt toast? Yeah, I'm getting symptoms of his stroke. No, and yeah, everybody's a tough guy behind bulletproof glass. You asshole, Ace. Another running scared reference. But yeah, this is about his paranoia. Like he sees people coming up to the window and it's making him nervous. That's what that statement means more than anything else. Like, why the fuck would you bring up, like, go ahead, walk up to the window, fucking shoot right in, bounce right off and kill you. Okay, first off, no, it would not. It does not work that way. Also, do not encourage that. Not to your friends and not your enemies, certainly, you asshole.
The windows are that thick.
Yeah, the windows are that thick. I can be a tough motherfucker behind bulletproof glass that's that thick, which it isn't, but whatever. He still thinks he's in the Beast. I don't. And also, they're going, Trump, you're so tough. Like, it's so odd.
You know,
No, I don't know. No, tell me.
By the way, it's a Saturday night. There's not a lot to do. So we'll stay here for a while. Do we agree?
Oh, this is one of those things where he's very aware that his speeches are long and boring.
And another person who's a warrior, she happens to be a beautiful woman, but I never think about that because I never talk about beauty. To me, I can see the most beautiful woman in the world. It doesn't register with me at all. Beauty doesn't matter. But she's beautiful, but she's a great lawyer.
By the way, that is obvious sarcasm or irony for his audience. They are meant to infer that he is a well-known philanderer and a complete fucking pig. That, believe me, that's sarcasm.
And she's
verbal irony.
Been a tremendous protector of...
But here's the thing. He's talking about Alina Habba, and you can tell there's already an issue either with Melania or Alina Habba herself.
A lot of very important people, and she's done an incredible job, and she has tremendous courage. You know, I have these high-priced lawyers, and
then I have Alina Habba.
they're fine, but they go out
and they're fine. I have these high-priced lawyers, and they're fine. But this chick I pay shit to...
I say, go speak to the press. And, you know, you have these animals out there. Oh, there they are, right up there. Whoa. You have these animals out there. They're vicious animals.
There are vicious animals, you know. And what do you do with a vicious animal, obviously? Bing, bang, boom.
And these high-priced guys, you know, they're beautiful guys, nice, beautiful suits.
Beautiful is the word of the night.
Everything nice, pay a lot of money to these people. Go out and speak to the press. Sure, I'd rather not. And she goes, I'll do it. And she goes out there. She's fierce. She's a fierce person. And we appreciate it. Alina Haba.
Again, the dodges about her looks and all that kind of shit is just gross because that's all they talk about when she's not around and probably when she is.
Alina, she says, I'll do it, sir, I'll do it. And she goes and she makes the news every night.
Well, she makes up some news every night. The other night she made the news because there was a woman who was sexually assaulted. I think it was Mar-a-Lago, and she talked her out of going after a settlement against them. And yeah, it's great. It's great. She's a real hero.
She makes the news every night, screaming at these maniacs. Alex Brusewitz, who has been incredible. Where is that? Alex, I want to see him. Alex Brusewitz. Where are you, Alex?
Brusewitz or Bursewitz? What are you saying?
Thank you. What a job you've done between you and D.C. Drano and Alex Stein and Jack. Where's Jack? Where's Jack?
Prosobiec, I think you mean.
Where is he? Jack, I want to see you.
There's a lot of Jacks there, dumb fuck.
Great job, Jack. Thank
He waited for all the Jacks to stand up and then pointed to the one he was talking about.
you. What a job you do.
It's a job. It is. It's such a job.
You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and
We have fake news like you've never seen before, like the likes
these are
of.
the guys should be getting Pulitzers. You know, we're suing the Pulitzer Organization, and we're suing them because they gave the Pulitzer Prize to people that reported on fair and accurately Russia, 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 but it turned out to be totally false. And even they admit now it was a scam.
No, they don't.
So we say, you know, we're actually suing them, right, Boris?
Yeah, it's going to be great. Right, Boris? Or as I like to refer to him, unindicted co-conspirator number 7.
We're suing them, and I hear we're doing very well.
Oh, yeah, you're doing great. You're totally going to win the Pulitzer law thing against the Pulitzer people for doing not right things in terms of the Pulitzer and suing them.
They haven't got a response.
Yeah. Well, nothing says doing well like people blowing off your lawsuit and going, is the shredder fixed or can I know it is. You know what? Can I do this one by hand? Thank you very much.
We're demanding that the Pulitzer Prize be taken away from these people that got it because they were wrong. The ones that should get it are also here, many of them. And they're incredible people, and
they're incredible. I mean, you know, obviously it's our fake news, and that's why we want it, because we don't understand what the Pulitzer is about at all, and also that it's a private group and they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can be right and wrong at the same time. Who gives a shit?
They should get it, and we want them to get it, and we also want damages because great damage was caused by their bad reporting. Raheem Kassam. Raheem. Where is Raheem? What a good job you do.
What a good job, boy. Guys. Good job.
Thank you, Raheem. Great job.
Yeah, great job.
Scott Pressler. Fantastic. Thank you, Scott. And, of course, Cash Patel. Thank you, Cash.
Thank you, Cash, for arranging some of the shenanigans. The Keystone Cop box maneuvers were on your watch. Thanks a lot.
Great job. Get ready, Cash. Get ready. All of you guys get ready. Paul.
Yeah, get ready. You're all going to get a job in my cabinet and pardons on day one.
And Gracia, thank you very much. You've been fantastic. What a writer. Thank you. Thank you. What a job. And all of the countless other distinguished guests that we have here. We have too many to go through, but I wanted to mention a few.
Yeah, there's just too many.
Even outside, it's packed. And they're really incredible people, and they're very brave people. And
You're being shadow banned, ATM 1995? Huh. I could see you. It's terrible. Maybe you're being banned by the shadow.
very great patriots. 11 months from now, each of you will vote in the most important election of your lives. It's the most important election. I used to say...
some of you will vote 3-4 times if you're from the villages.
Say 2016 was the most important election, but this is far more important, you know?
Because you weren't on the cusp of going to jail right before 2016, although all of these crimes happened around that time, so you should have.
We had a border problem in 2016, but it was minor by comparison to this.
This is
And
like
I
I
ran
fixed
the
the border.
campaign on the border, and I won. But this is far greater. And in 2020, I kept saying to my people, I want to talk about the border. They said, sir, we don't have a problem. You straightened it out. I said, that's
They said, sir, you put up the wall and it sucks. It works. It's worse now that you put up the border wall and we can't figure it out. We're scrambling to figure out why your wall made things worse. Besides, of course, the access road running along the entire length of it on the Mexican side of the border that didn't exist until you constructed this ridiculous slat fence.
good. I want to tell them that. He said, nobody wants to listen to that, sir. You straightened it out. We had a great border. I couldn't even talk about it.
Yeah, because people were dying of COVID hand over fist, and everybody was like, the border, Mexicans won't even come in here because we have more cases than Mexico does.
Now, the border crisis is the worst in history. There's never
Yeah, it's weird. Just after the building of the wall.
been any border like this from any country. So this election will decide whether your generation inherits a fascist country or a free country, whether
Right, yeah. You're the fascist part of it, and yeah.
you have the rule of tyrants or the rule of law, whether
Yeah, and of course they've weaponized law, and as soon as I get in there, I'm going to fuck some people up.
America will be destroyed by crooked Joe Biden and his goons, or whether we, the people, will make America great again. Make America great again.
It's right there. It's the old, normally I would play my hits at full volume or whatever, but I'm going to take it down a notch and turn Make America Great Again into a jazz trio ensemble version. Instead of the big bombastic version of Make America Great Again that became a country rock hit, we're just going to sit on some fucking stools on an area rug and somebody's going to play the bongos. And this is just kind of, it's not a low energy version of it. I would call it that. There is a
Which I think is the greatest phrase in the history of politics, don't you think? Really? I think so. Ronald Reagan had "Let's make America great," so it was different. Somebody said, "Oh, but Ronald Reagan." No, he didn't. He didn't. Number one, it wasn't a big deal with him. But
No, it wasn't a big deal. In his defense, it wasn't a big deal, and he got reelected. So maybe you lost because it was a big deal. Maybe it was too big a deal. Maybe you were outweighed by your own brand.
he had "Let's make America great," which is okay. But make America great again. How powerful is that? MAGA.
Well, that's because Let's Make America Great had to come before. He also did say Make America Great Again, but also, I'm just saying Let's Make America Great is the initial greatness they were talking about. And heretofore, Republicans have said that was a high point, a high watermark in America's greatness was when Reagan was in office, hence the again part. So you're basically, in the Republican human centipede, you're the one with your mouth on his ass. I'm just saying, I'm just making a diagram people can understand.
Yeah, MAGA. I tell that to Biden. I say,
No, you don't.
Joe,
No, you didn't. You haven't spoken to him. He doesn't talk to you.
when he gets
I say, Joe, and then someone comes up and asks me why I'm talking to the furniture.
up, we've got to stop the MAGA extremists. Yeah, I'm extreme about making America great again, right? We're extremists. We're extremists.
We're very extremists. We're extremists, And all that guy at the FBI office in Cincinnati was trying to do, or the guy who held up in his house with a fucking pipe bomb that blew up his fucking house and two others, they're just they were just extremely into MAGA.
They can't get away. They can't get away. It's such a great.
They can't get away. They can't escape. Nope. Nobody can escape the extremism. Basically, MAGA's like a black hole, It's not like, some people call it a chocolate swirly, but I would say it's a black hole. Everything gets sucked into it. Light, joy, anything, just churned right up like a blender.
You know, we almost changed it to CAG, you know.
No, you suggested that, and everyone went, hey, marketing genius, it sounds like you're choking.
That because we had America Great.
Yeah, especially right in the middle of COVID when everybody was dying and there really was no way out of it, and you were throwing that warp speed horse shit around to make everybody feel like the vaccines were rushed because fucking warp speed sounds like you're rushing it. And then they didn't want to take it.
We were doing.
That's a white hole. Is it Boston Brian? I don't know. It's starting to look like, I think it's an orange hole, and that's scaring me. Even the conversation.
So great. We had the greatest economy, all the things.
All the bullshit I usually say.
So I had another one, keep America great.
Yeah, and I was like, I woke up with it. It was genius. And people were like, excuse me, CAG? Yeah. Clan America great?
But somehow it never registered the same way. MAGA is the greatest phrase, I think, in the history of politics anywhere. You know, I tell the story that Pat Buchanan, who's a
I haven't heard this story, but I'm honestly super excited.
Wonderful guy,
great guy, super good guy, super racist guy,
conservative guy, and he became a very famous political pundit. Did great.
He did.
Great. He had a wonderful life, and he's still.
He did have a wonderful life, and then what happened?
Still, you know, I think he's around, and
I think he's around. He's not dead, if that's what you mean.
He's an older guy right now. But
so are you.
he had a wonderful life.
Hold on. Wait, I have to look. I honestly, I don't know how old Pat Buchanan is. Hold on. His, hold on. Shit. Move over. This crazy thing. Let's see. Where is he? Hold on. Why is everything cut off on this silly page? Hold on. There he goes. He's no Wikipedia. I don't want to donate right now. Let's see. Yeah, he's 85 years old. He's 5 years older than Biden. There we go. Sorry. Thanks, guys. You were already jumping, and he's alive. Yeah.
Life on doing well in New Hampshire. He did well in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's what he was known for. That and being being in the soundly, I would say, in the fuck the dog whistle camp.
We won 50 states. Think of it. Last time we won 50 states. We won 32 states in the election, but we won 50 states. We probably won 50 states in the election too, but we won't.
No, you didn't.
Won't get into that.
No, you fucking well didn't. You Mike Pillow. What's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. You Mike Pillow.
Asshole.
Right. You did not win 50 fucking states. Yeah, he won 52. Like
Asshole.
Right.
But think of it.
I am thinking of it.
This is the greatest movement in history.
No, I think this is the greatest movement in history.
When you look outside and you see thousands of people.
You don't actually.
Even outside, it's packed.
Yeah. This is, the small rooms are getting to him.
When you see us coming down, I was about to say, they couldn't see. The people were going wild. Somebody in my car said, you know, you can win New York. The people are going wild. And I said, how do they know it's even me in the car? Because you can't tell.
You can't. No, you know how they know which car has you in it? The left side of the car is lower than the right side of the car. See, all the other ones have like Secret Service guys, and they're all basically balanced in weight. And then I guess it must be like they have a 215-pound limit or whatever, but they just go, oh, that's the one that's sagging in the middle. It's this he's in the sway back Humvee.
And the people are going crazy.
They are, yeah. A lot of them are giving you the finger.
Waving and, you know, giving you
the New York salute.
All sorts of fist pumps and everything.
Fist pumps, all right.
I'm telling you, this is a place that can...
Well, you know, what does a fist bump mean, though?
Don't touch my hands because they're dirty.
That's
we
right.
won, and we have the team to do it. For 4 straight years, our opponents have been waging an all-out war on American democracy. They tried to overthrow the duly elected president, thank you very much, with one hoax, witch hunt.
What is he thanking Steve for putting the fact that he really won the 2016 election in there?
And abuse of power.
Or is he, does he think, yeah, because that's about the Mueller, investigation and all that kind of shit, and his impeachments that before January 6th, like before he lost the election. But I think he thinks it means after the election that he won.
Another, one after another, right? All of the different things. Mueller, we had Mueller to take care of. We had.
Oh, did you take care of him? What'd you do? Give a reach around or?
Had more than anybody. And think of it, we had all of that going on. And
you had all that going
still,
on?
people, I was reading today, many people consider this to be one of the greatest presidencies, all of the many things we did.
Really? Many people? Are they all in that room?
Greatest tax cuts in history, rebuilt our military, defeated ISIS, Space Force.
The greatest thing since Ass Force, I think. A lot of people feel that way.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the Air Force. We did so much.
And yet, so little of it lasted.
We became energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. Then they rigged and stole the election of 2020. And since Biden got in, he has been weaponizing government against his political opponents like a raging third world tyrant. That's what he's been doing. He looks
like a raging third world tyrant. Yeah,
like an innocent guy. I actually don't really know that it's him, because I know the people that surround him. I think it's them, and he's a perfect vessel. He's so good. They love him because he has no idea what the hell he's doing. He has no idea where he is. He can't put 2 sentences together.
I see. So he's going with the Biden is innocent in this entire exchange and that he's not the bad guy. It's the people that are around Biden that are controlling him. Which I got to say kind of undercuts your election push on the guy.
And he can't get off a stage. He can never find his way off the stage. Like this stage has a stair.
Oh, right. That's because he has friends everywhere, and so he waves at them, and everybody thinks he's walking off the stage where there are no stairs. But he's like, hey, I'll come around. I'll tell you what, I'll come around. But because he's older, everybody, cuts a little chunk of it, and that's the story.
There, a stair here, a stair there. Or you could jump off the, front.
Yeah, stage dive at 81 years old. That's a great idea. How about you try it first? I'm sure they'll catch you. I guarantee the entire front row will try to catch you on their mouths.
The guy can't. But to show you how dishonest the press is.
Oh, he's going to get mad about the Lincoln Project attack.
Until I got indicted, I was pretty nice to him because I have great respect for the office of the presidency.
Which you don't think he really runs?
You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, Steve? It's so much better. Because I have so much.
Oh, just so you know, Steve Bannon is the guy, the Steve he's referring to. That's the guy that he pardoned for bilking maggots out of their money for a fake build-the-wall scheme. Just in case you're just now catching up, hit that like button.
Respect for the office. So I wasn't really hitting him. In fact, some people said you could hit him harder.
He was saying the exact same shit.
I said, no, he's president. I don't want to hit him that
bullshit
hard. And once I got indicted the first time, and then the second, third, fourth, and then they were going to do 2 more, and they called in, we're going to indict this guy into office. Stop. Don't do him. Don't do him.
Don't do him. Don't do him. Him, is that a don't do him, like them, don't do the indictments, or don't do him? I don't know. It's fucking weird.
And I could be indictment proof right now. I don't think they can do it.
Test it. You should try. You should see. I would say go for it.
Sid, I don't think they can do it. But they stopped it. They heard about it. I think they sent their biggest people. Don't do it! Local DAs, all controlled by the White House. Local attorney generals, state attorney generals.
Federal attorney generals.
And what's happened is Since the indictment, the gloves are off. It's just, you can't do any worse than this. I got indicted, first time in history. First time in history. And I always
Well, you are a special case. You are particularly gross.
say Al Capone,
Oh, God.
the greatest of them all, gangster.
The greatest of them all, gangster. Yeah, that's true. He did bash people's brains in and murder them and have people summarily executed and yeah.
Scarface, he'd kill you.
Oh, by the way, he just watched the Amazon Prime documentary on Al Capone. That's why he keeps bringing it up.
He'd kill you, Mr. Congressman. If he
Mr. Oh, yeah, is that guy's name? I forgot. I'm so glad you brought it up. I'm so glad you remembered. I was there the whole time. I was like, what's that guy's name? You're like, oh, Mr. Congressman. Yeah, him. Yeah, you know him.
He thought you was smiling at the table. If you were smiling at him in a way that he thought was mocking, because he was, a nasty person, he would kill you. He would kill many, many people.
No, I gotta say, Capone wasn't that, didn't have a weak fucking ego. He killed people for disloyalty and shit. He didn't just snap and blow people's fucking brains out. He ran a giant organization, dipshit.
He was probably the greatest gangster of them all.
What the fuck does that mean? No, he wasn't. Not even close. He was early in the process. He just got known for it. Jesus Christ. Aren't you the one telling us that MS-13 is the most vicious fucking gang in the world? Who runs them, you dumb fuck?
He got indicted one time. I got indicted 4 times.
Yeah, but that's because they wanted to indict him for fucking murder, for dozens of murders, some of which he participated in personally, but the witnesses were all fucking dead or were afraid they would get killed. He would have been indicted for a bunch of shit. They just got him on tax evasion because it was the only way they could bring him in without a shootout.
Scarface. Not a very nice person. But many people that are, major criminals, very few have had an honor of being indicted 4 times. I'll tell you one.
What? Many major criminals have not had the honor of being indicted 4 times? You mean maybe in 4 different fucking places?
One thing, I'm the first guy that ever got indicted whose poll numbers went up. Nobody.
No, that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, watch the special Get Gotti, or Got Gotti, yeah, Get Gotti on Netflix. That one's all about the fact that it raised his Q in New York City. And the first time, the first 3 times, I think he wasn't indicted 3 times and he beat it the rap. They called him the Teflon Don and then they finally fucking got him. But the first 3 times, he became a celebrity in New York. This is very New York in general. This whole fucking thing. Secondly, one of the reasons why the rednecks like it was because they kind of make him akin to an old Wild West outlaw, as opposed to a murderous criminal.
That's a fact. Who the hell gets indicted, Matt?
Oh, he's next. He's the wrong, Matt Gaetz. He's the wrong fucking guy to ask. You know who gets indicted? His best fucking friend that made fake IDs for 16-year-old girls so those motherfuckers could fly him out of state, you dumbass. The dude's cooperating still.
And their poll numbers went up, and I don't mean went up. I mean
a rocket ship.
A rocket ship, because the people get it. They get it. But crooked Joe Biden's Banana Republic ends on November 5th, 2024.
It ends. No, technically, even if he lost, it wouldn't end till January of 2025. Stupid. And I gotta say, if there's a lame duck session and you're gonna take over, you don't think Biden's gonna fucking officially pardon everybody? Just to fuck with you?
And you've been seeing what's going on in the past.
Totally, I saw it.
Few weeks, the radical left Democrats and their fake news allies have unveiled their newest hoax that Donald J. Trump and the Republican Party are a threat to democracy. Do you believe it?
It's outrageous.
Can you believe it?
Yes, I can believe it. You fucking said so.
Here I am like an idiot.
This is their new line, you know. It's, here we go again. Russia, Russia, Russia. Mueller, Mueller, Mueller. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. One hoax after another. How about Pfizer?
How about Pfizer?
They don't talk about the fake Pfizer
No, they don't talk about.
report signed.
No, the fake Pfizer reports signed and what?
So bad, right? Signed.
And signed and so bad, right? Signed. What were they? I didn't. Were they written? You mean signed with a signature, or are we talking about American Sign Language?
But no, I'm not a threat. I will save democracy. The threat is crooked Joe Biden.
I'm a rubber ball. You're glue. Whatever you say, bounce off me and sticks to you. It's so good, so true.
That's the threat.
That's the threat. He's the threat. I'm not the threat. He says I'm the threat. He's the threat. I just say that. Think about it.
And they think that the threat to democracy, and that's what it is.
Democracy. The threat to what?
That's the threat. And they think that the threat to democracy, and that's
Trissy.
what it is. It's a hoax. It's a new.
It's a hoax.
We call it now.
What do we call it? Make up the name right there on the spot, and it's pithy as fuck.
The threat to democracy hoax.
It's because that's what I call it. So it's the threat to democracy hoax. Because I can't just use the one word, threat hoax, that doesn't make sense. So, and we can't say threat to democracy, like Mueller. So I call it the threat to democracy hoax. Because I'm a marketing genius.
That's what it is. These guys are so good with misinformation, disinformation. It's a slight difference, you know.
One is active, one is passive.
You know that, Sid, right? There is a slight difference. If you want, we can talk about it.
Yes, people are misinformed, or they're actively trying to disinform people. That is the difference. Passing along bad information that you believe is real, that's misinformation. Intentionally creating fake stories or fake ideas or whatever and passing them along to dupe people, that's disinformation.
But let's not bore the audience.
Now, let's not bore the audience. I was able to do it in 2 fucking sentences, but you go ahead.
Misinformation. You know that, Bannon?
Yeah, Bannon knows, of course. He's in the disinfo business, dumb fuck.
Misinformation and disinformation. It's like...
What's it like? Here comes the analogy. This is going to be good.
All of the prisoners that are coming out from all over the world in jails and prisons.
Okay.
So people say, why do you say jails and prisons? Because there is a slight difference.
I see. So you do realize it's not a meaningful difference unless you want to assure the American people that some of the people coming across the border have not been found guilty of their charges. They were just jailed until trial. They may be guilty, they may not. And so it's nice of you to make that distinction. Also, if misinformation is accidentally saying a bad piece of information or spreading it, and disinformation is doing it on purpose, then what? In this analogy, people go to jail accidentally, but prison on purpose? The fuck?
Well, there's also a difference in dis and miss, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. If you diss somebody, you like throwing down, yo. And if you miss, they're gone. You're never going to see them again. Where are they? There's a big difference between I miss her and I diss her. You know what I'm saying?
And
word.
All of these hoaxes and all of them have been created. This is all they do well. They are sick people. They don't care about our country. They should spend the time on China, screwing us on trade. And we would have...
Yeah, that's not happening anymore, by the way. I mean, I suppose, look, who am I to say? Your daughter still has those trademarks and she can do what she wants with them. How, God knows what she's doing to the market for knockoff bullshit purchases, but...
have the greatest country. We would have the strong... If they use that genius, that sick genius, they could do some wonderful things, but...
Oh, you mean like, I'm with you. So you're saying if Biden used all the cleverness he has and the team he has around him, that if they worked really hard, they could stop companies from giving technology to China that can be used for the military, maybe even block chips manufacturing in China altogether, and then put sanctions on companies. So denying the Chinese military all that technology. And then, of course, they could keep whatever sanctions you put on them and tariffs and maybe add on to them, effectively choking off China's entire economy. Nah.
They don't, because they're sick.
Oh, that's why. Well, if they're sick, then they really can't help it. They just need help. I mean, a sick person is just, like, if they're criminal, that's one thing. But if they're corrupt criminals, that just means they're innocent.
They think the threat to democracy hoax will save Biden from having created the worst inflation in our country's history.
Oh, right. With all that infusion of cash that came in 2020, was it? And the supply chain shock that started in 2020, was it?
Fragile economy that may soon end in a depression, much like 1929. Have you heard that before?
I've heard of the Depression of 1929, but no, we're not on the precipice of a depression, dumb fuck. And by the way, the reason he's saying this is because they've been pushing the idea that we have been in a recession, or we've already were in a recession, or we're still in a recession, but there's one right around the corner that's even worse. And yet we still haven't, and according to him, we're still riding on the fumes of his presidency, I guess.
You watch.
I will watch. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for a depression like no one has ever seen before.
We are very, very close to it.
We're so close. I guess if you get elected, I guess we're that close?
Depression, the likes of which you have never seen.
Well, unless you're 108 years old or something like that.
We owe $36 trillion, and this guy has no clue. And you know that Mitch McConnell gave him $10 trillion for them to hand away like candy.
Oh, you mean when Mitch McConnell didn't kill the raising the debt limit to pay for the $6 trillion that you added to the budget that had to be paid, that was already allocated during 2020. That by insisting on paying your fucking bills.
Almost, I could say, and maybe he is worse than any of them, that he allowed them to have votes. He needed 10 votes, 12 votes. He needed different votes.
Yes, some sort of voting situation.
He gave them many times votes. You add it up, it's close to $10 trillion. And they go and they hand it out like candy. And it's the one thing they can say. And
well, all right. For the record, Captain Gumdrops, the bridges and roads in this country that are being repaired from the Infrastructure Act are not made from gumdrops. Now, it may seem like a dreamy sugar plum land out there to you folks, but that's all up in the noodle. You're making that up. It's asphalt. It's good old fashioned asphalt and steel and concrete. Stuff like that. There are none of the bridges are made of sugar plums. I want you to feel safe driving across them.
The only reason they got it is because Mitch McConnell and his little
refuse to crash the economy on your behalf.
Gang of people gave it to him, and it's a disgrace to the Republican Party, and it's a disgrace to our nation. Disgrace.
Say disgrace again. That helps. It's a good word because you've never really used it much, and yeah.
But I have to be careful when I say that because Matt Gaetz is a big fan of Mitch McConnell. He's a big fan, and Bannon must love him. You love Mitch. I don't know. He seems to be checked out now. He seems to be checked out. I hope the hell he gets out of there. And
these are, I would like to say, this is the Senate minority leader of their party that they're talking about, just for the record. And he's discussing it with a guy he pardoned for fucking maggots out of their money for a fake build a wall, and a congressman who's on deck to be expelled after George Santos because he's a fucking creep.
Another thing I'll do that nobody else would be able to do, or even
is shit my pants while signing a anti-shitting your pants bill.
Think about is we will not have a World War III under President Trump. But you might very well have one under what's happening now.
Oh, I see. So, real quick, if we do have a World War III before you're elected, are you just going to have, will you promise not to have a World War IV, or is that what you're talking about? You're like, you won't have a World War III. You'll go World War III. Fuck, that's old news. It's World War IV, baby. It even, it rhymes, so it flows better. And I mean, honestly, I think World War IV would be difficult for Trump to say anyway.
Christopher Columbus, Christopher.
You know what I mean?
This happens, this will be a war like no other war. This
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't have drones during the Civil War, and
will be a war the likes of which this world has never seen because of modern day weaponry.
yeah, that's true of every war. That is literally true of every major war anyways. Like, one of the reasons why this side that used to fight this side, or this side that used to fight them back, or whatever, why one of them thinks we are going to get them this time is because of new technology. Always.
I mean, think about it. In Hiroshima, we've all seen it many times.
Have you?
And Nagasaki, just think about it. Multiply that explosive power times 500, Mr. Congressman.
Yeah, Mr. Congressman, or is that, I got to squint, is that Mrs. Congressman? Congressperson, I think, in general. Also, say his fucking name, dum-dum. And we've had nukes 500 times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki since, 8 months after?
500. And that's the kind.
And I rebuilt them. So not only are they much more damage, I rebuilt our nuclear. We have all new nuclear. I put on a new backsplash on it. It's fantastic. I had people from HGTV come over. All the nuclear silos have gold faucets and shitters.
Kind of power we're talking about. This would.
Yeah, this motherfucker just watched Oppenheimer. No, he didn't. There's no way he sat through Oppenheimer. There's no way. He saw the trailer.
Be a war like nobody's ever seen. Probably.
Well, I mean, obviously, and then it'll be too late.
Obliteration.
Probably obliteration. Maybe not. I don't know. Probably obliteration. Two words that just flow. You know what I mean? They just kind of go together. Probably obliteration.
Biden is the real threat to democracy for two simple reasons.
Oh gosh, what is it? Burmesia? What?
The Burmese executives.
Yeah, that's one.
So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Okay, and then what was the other one?
He's corrupt.
He's corrupt.
And he's incompetent.
And he's incompetent. He's so incompetent, he can't even be corrupt. He's literally, okay, so he's trying to, so Biden is trying to crime, okay? Just to understand this. He's in the middle of criming. He's like, we got to do some criming. And they're like, okay, boss, what's your criming plan? And he's like, I think we should build some schools and bridges. And they're like, fuck you, you suck at criming. And he's like, what are you talking about? No, that's the opposite of what we're trying to. Are we going to steal the money to do it? Yeah, we're going to steal the money by asking for it from the taxpayers and going through the process where everyone's representative government votes on it, and if the majority gets it through, then and we'll make sure to give a little to the other side so they feel okay about signing on to it, so we don't need it to be along party lines. What the fuck what kind of criming is this?
Grossly incompetent.
Grossly incompetent criminal. He's basically a saint.
But we have to fight Democrat misinformation at every corner if the Republican Party is to survive. I mean, they're trying
It's to survive.
to end this party.
Dude, A, party's over. B, you're doing a great job yourself. Seriously, I think Democrats are more invested in saving the Republican Party from itself.
Not going to happen, by the way, but they're trying. We're not going to let that happen. And much.
Uh-huh. It's a huge crowd there.
More importantly, if our country survives, our country's in trouble. We're not respected. We're not listened to. 3 years.
Except by Netanyahu, who actually had the humanitarian pause temporarily for the exchange of hostages that Blinken worked out with Biden and two other members of the State Department through Qatar in negotiations between Hamas and Israel. And by the way, the only lack of respect we seem to get in terms of our NATO allies and European countries is the MTGs and the Trump sucks on the right who are trying to undermine Ukraine and support Russia.
Years ago, we were more respected, I believe, than this country has ever been.
Yeah, but that's because you were president and everybody had to act like they respect you, which no one does. Some people fear you, other people think you're a messianic figure, but that ain't respect.
I would call these guys, I would get whatever the hell I wanted from them. I didn't have to even make trips.
Right, they just did it anyways. So what you're saying is you didn't work very hard and you got stuff that was just the bare minimum.
President, she respected your president and he respected our country. Now they...
Oh, is that why he sent a giant bioweapon to destroy the entire country and kill people all over the world and stuff during your tenure while he rope-a-doped you in the middle of a trade deal? Nah.
They laugh at us, they lecture us about all sorts of things. They
Yeah, all sorts of things, like math, history.
would have never done that with me.
No, because it wouldn't have helped.
But it's so sad when I see what's happened to our country.
Is it? What do you see? Have you been to the airports lately? Of course not.
We're no longer a leader in the world. And you know, when they talk about
We kind of singularly are.
Ukraine, we put up $200 billion. The European nations, who are approximately the same size as our economy when added up,
Nope.
are in for 18. Why doesn't somebody say equalize like I did with NATO? I said, you have to pay your bills. And I took in $400 billion.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because they don't have the states like North Carolina, Montana, Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, to some degree Florida, and even Nevada that have, and I guess Arkansas as well, because there's a couple of like ammo manufacturers there that have an economic base around military manufacturing that money goes into before it goes to Ukraine. It's money that is made here in the United States. Even if the goods are eventually given, it's still the money is spent locally. Europe doesn't have anywhere near that kind of a system set up, and if they do, it's just for the minimal needs of their individual country.
Just like with Russia, the radical left communists, Marxists, fascists, they're always accusing us of exactly what they themselves...
Exactly. The spittle helps. I do think it's attractive. Hold on one second.
Marxists, fascists, they're always accusing us of exactly what they...
Exactly. It's fantastic. He's turning into Carol Channing. These Marxists and fascists are coming after us.
...themselves are doing. It's what they do best. It's really what they do best.
Isn't it?
They're bad on borders. They're horrible on policy.
Well, I got to say, it's the wall that I blame.
They want high taxes. They're really bad on everything except for cheating on elections, in which they're perhaps one of the most brilliant groups of people in history.
Well, actually, it didn't require a lot of brains to beat you. If you were cheated out of the election, you were president of the United States at the time. You had access to the intelligence service of the United States, all the agencies, and the Federal Election Commission. They didn't even have to try hard.
Every abuse of power, the fake news is ridiculously claiming I will commit is, in fact, being committed by Crooked Joe and his thugs.
Thugs.
They're trying to lock up their political opponents. They want to lock up their political opponents, in particular me. Thank you very much. It's an honor. They're trying...
I don't know why he thinks that, like, This is definitely him being sarcastic or verbally ironic, but everybody thinks it makes him tough. Like, thank you very much. Like, I fucking need
To
this.
criminalize free speech and take total control over the American people. But then I came along and I'm standing in their way, and
No, you're not.
now millions of Americans are joining us. Millions and millions are joining the Republican Party.
No, they aren't. You can, again, like they put that in there because these folks need to feel like that, you know, it's a numbers game. There's no depth of belief, so they, you know, a shallow body of water needs to go on and on and on. And you would talk about a fucking drain the swamp attitude. They are a swamp, shallow, murky, mosquito-filled water that goes on for far too long. That's the current Republican Party. People are not joining. They are losing party members, and people are calling themselves independents because of him.
We've never raised so much money, and you know who's giving us the biggest share of the money?
Old people?
People that are paying $61 on average apiece. Think of it. Not the people that are giving us millions.
By the way, the $25 is the average when it's really coming from like the working class. $61 means they're splitting it between people who give, you know, $100 and people who give $5.
Millions of dollars, but the people
and it's weighted towards the
that are
100.
paying $61, there's never been anything like it.
Also, and that's just his PAC, I think.
The only
Or no, his campaign. The PAC itself is just all million.
one, and it's not even close, is Bernie, crazy Bernie. Bernie had a little thing going on.
Madoff?
I remember when he had his rallies, and if he had 2,000 people, they used to say, this rally is massive. It's unbelievable. And I'd have a rally down the street. We'd have 35,000, and they'd say, Trump's giving a rally today. They always used to talk about how big his rally. Remember, Steve?
No, they didn't.
Bernie would have 1,500 people. This is a magnificent the crowds. I'd give one 35,000 people. Trump had a rally, too.
Also, asshole, you didn't run against him. Anytime the crowds were mentioned, it was in either parallel, contrast, or in deficit of whatever was happening with Hillary at the time.
These people, they are the most dishonest people anywhere in the world. They're the fake news. They are fake.
They are totally fake. And by fake, he means the camera's back there from his campaign.
One of our better terms. We've had a lot of good names. I think fake news is one of the best.
Yeah, you did make that up. Norm Macdonald literally would lead SNL Weekend Update with that every time.
The only problem
Almost every time.
is it's not tough enough because they're much worse than fake. They're fake and they're corrupt. There are a lot of terms, but somehow fake seems to have stuck, so let's leave it that way.
Yeah, it's like a marketing meeting.
Poll numbers reveal that Black, Hispanic, Asian, and just about everybody else want to join the Republican Party right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, just about everybody else. And the Black, Hispanic, Asians especially.
Because the Republican Party is the American dream, not the Democrat Party of open borders, chaos.
Is the party of the American dream. I don't think the American dream is being in the Republican Party. Unless, I guess, you're a serial groper.
Uniform laughter. They laugh at us all over the world. The world is laughing at us.
Yes, they are. At you. And by us, you mean the Republican Party. Yeah.
Can you imagine President Xi? I have to say, the press gets very angry when I call him a brilliant person.
No, you're just stupid.
If I say he's brilliant, the next day article, he called President Xi a brilliant person. Yeah.
Also, by the way, this is a dodge. Because when the uproar came, it was because of Kim Jong-un, when he said this similar comments about Kim Jong-un, and Hamas, and Vladimir Putin when he attacked. When he talks about it, he makes it about Xi Jinping as kind of a drift, like nobody's up in arms about Xi Jinping in particular, calling him that. They're just what people react to in that is when he says he's right out of central casting and there's not anybody in Hollywood that's effectively good looking enough to play Xi Jinping. Like, what the fuck?
He controls 1.4 billion people with
No, he doesn't.
an iron fist.
And also not true.
They want me to say he's just of average intelligence. Okay?
Yeah, but he didn't play fucking go and win Jeopardy to get in that fucking position. He was a princeling who punched his way to the top.
The look, the
In the middle, I
whole
would
thing.
argue.
He stands in front of 1 million soldiers. They walk by.
Yeah, like an asshole.
And they want me to say bad things. Can't say bad things.
Yeah, you can. How about he uses slave labor to undercut the workers in America? How about that? That's pretty easy. How about the aircraft carrier they just built is shit and has a giant crack in the middle of it? Thanks, Brian, for the super chat.
But can you imagine guys like this, Putin?
Oh my gosh, Kimberly, thank you so much for the super chat as well. I didn't see that
Many
one.
of them, even like France, Macron, you know, he's a tricky little guy.
This is, by the way, all the handshaking stuff and all that kind of stuff. We're going to find out that Macron still has his wallet.
No, but they're all sharp. How about Kim Jong-un? He's got more nuclear missiles. I say, can you do anything else? Let's go
Yes, he has more nuclear missiles now than when you took office.
to a ball game or something. Did you ever? And we became very friendly, and they hate when they say that. You know, when they hear what we
Yeah, he starves people to fucking death, dummy. It's like saying, you don't think these Nazi camp guards are smart guys? Smart guys. They got like a rifle with like 6 shots in it, and yet there's thousands of people, tens of thousands of people in this camp. They're standing on top of the barbed wire. They're not down in it. So smart guys, obviously very smart guys. And what am I supposed to say? They're stupid?
started off very rough. Steve was there, remember? Little Rocket Man, he's Little Rocket Man.
Blah, blah, blah.
He said, I have a red button on my desk. And I said, I have a red button too, but mine's bigger.
I have a green one. It'd make me jump ahead.
And you know, we had a meeting. When we had a meeting, it was in Singapore. It was the biggest press
Biggest what?
gaggle anyone's ever seen.
No, it wasn't.
There must have been 10,000 there when I met with Kim Jong-un, because
Yes, because no one could believe an American president would do something this stupid.
he was getting ready to blow up the world. And I wanted to give it a shot to stop him, you know. When Obama, you know, when you sit
By giving him what he wanted.
before you take office, you sit with the president.
Do I?
I said, so tell me, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea is the biggest problem by far. Remember that, Steve? He said the biggest part. I mean, there's nothing you can do. He's
Yeah, that's what he
got
said.
a lot of nuclear weapons, and I think he's willing to use them. I said, have you called him? No. But actually, he did call him.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're going to bump over to, there's only so much, I can only take so much of this asshole in a row. And so we'll take a break from him for the moment. We'll get back to it because I've got my own concerns. I got, I've heard anyways that that the end times are upon us. And, and I'm sorry to disappoint a lot of you. And by the way, I don't know who is picking Eric Metaxas's thumbnail images, but good on you. He looks fantastic. He doesn't look scared and like a raisin at all. Now, this is from his radio show, and he's talking about how bad will it get. He's on TBN, which is the the terrorism broadcasting network, whatever the fuck. And thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So he's going to tell us how bad will it get during the end time. They discuss the idea of free speech without consequences in America and observe trends through a biblical worldview. Do current events in America and Israel signal the end times? Well,
I don't know whether to be excited or completely filled with anxiety.
Well, I feel the same way looking at you. Also, what's with your lighting? It looks like you put a flashlight on a broomstick and duct taped it to the wall.
Because I don't know how bad it gets.
Oh my God. So Eric Metaxas is just trying to he's just dunking on you like a motherfucker. He's just showing how big and fancy his studio is. Now, in your defense, sir, with your flashlight duct taped to the wall, no one bothered to turn the rest of the lights on in the studio for Eric.
before God says, okay, it's time. Everybody out of the pool. Let's go. Safety break. We're done.
What do you think COVID was, fuckhead? Clearly God was like, all right, you folks, we're going to have to do a reset. Just everybody go to your room. I'm shuffling some shit. You don't need to see this. When you come outside, things will look slightly different.
But I'm hoping that we're closer to that day than we might have thought we were previously.
Hi, if something's going to happen in the future, you're always closer to it. Like now, like now, like now, like now. See, that's how time works. Fucking twit.
There's some dark stuff happening in the world
Thank you. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate it. Hi there.
today. Why don't you
Something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Hold on. Something's wrong with her eyes. Sorry, that's the closest I could get to to an Aerosmith ready overlay. I'll work on it.
why don't we talk about what is going on? I try to avert my
What is
eyes
going-
sometimes from the news.
Yeah, sometimes you just try to turn but you can't not look, and then like Lot's wife,
Because it's painful every now and
it is
again. Joe Biden
to see that Trump lost and he's not going to be president again, even though you and those other assholes at Flashpoint predicted he would within 6 weeks.
his face pops up, so I try to avoid it. But
Why? Because he scares you. That's faith. That's how you know something's really happening. Yeah.
what is happening right now with the IDF in Gaza? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, tell us about that from your garage, is it?
Well, and I don't know that I have any new layers of revelation, but I will.
Yeah, I mean, I've been flipping through the Bible and I'm trying to find October 7th in there. And
Will tell you, Eric, I spent last week out of the country
yes, Carlin, I saw the stuff with Sebastian Bach on Masked Singer. Yeah.
and kind of away from the onslaught of the normal news cycle that I kind of live with all the time.
Yes, it's a burden. I understand.
And it was interesting to kind of begin to re-emerge back into American culture and news, because the idea that, you know, even as we're going into the holidays and people are wanting to think about happier things and happier times, the truth
That's not good for business. Not on that Kevin show. If people start thinking about happier times and happier things, do you know how fucked you are? You can't let that happen. Fight back, that Kevin show. Scare the living shit out of these folks.
is the world is really a scary place right now.
Mm-hmm. Is it where you are? Real quick. In the history of humankind, at any given point, how many wars are going on? Like, find me a window of a year where there are less than 4. Less than 4. Massive wars. Like, the only reason we think there's times of relative peace is because World War I and World War II were so big.
And all you have to do is see the crises we're facing here at home. All you have to do is recognize.
Oh yeah, totally comparable to what, you know, it's happening in Israel and Gaza. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's basically, America's basically Darfur right now. You know what I mean?
That you have college professors like the one on the campus of Wake Forest University who was surprised by the fact that she said some horribly anti-Semitic things and people took exception to her and she ended up resigning. It's like
Yeah, because nothing like that has ever happened. So, okay, I've read the Bible, and I don't remember the resigning of university presidents being any of the signs of the end time. If it were, it might explain why you assholes think it's around the corner every goddamn day.
There's this phenomenon that I'm starting to see that is really, and it reminds me of my children, but it's we, especially in the U.S., we want to have the right to do whatever we want to do, say what we want to say, absolutely be as belligerent and as profane, as offensive as we can possibly be.
Oh, he's been watching. That's awfully nice. Subscribe, won't you? I'm thinking, are we at 60K yet? God damn it. Can somebody check? Because I'm sure we've hit it by now. As profane as I've been this last hour, you fucking twerp. Are we there yet? I think we are. Come on now.
By example, the group of people that marched through Manhattan on Sunday that said, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. They didn't say kill Israel. They didn't say kill Israelis. They said
well, saying kill Israel is a weird
kill
sentence.
the Jews. Hundreds, maybe thousands of them marching. I never thought I would see this on American soil with my own eyes in this
and yet
day and age. I mentioned this professor in Wake Forest. She
yeah, subscribe, everybody. Like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Help us out. Off we go.
She actually said that she kind of understood where Hamas was coming from, and that she doesn't know that maybe she herself would want to go into an open air concert and shoot people if she had been subjected to the same types of things that as the Palestinians. Now she's breaking down the narrative, because the Palestinians supposedly aren't the ones that are carrying out all the terror and torture. It was supposed to be the terrorists, right? Hamas, that's what we were told.
Yeah, but Hamas is the leadership of the Palestinians. Stop making distinctions without a difference. You know fucking well what she's saying. I'm not even supporting it, but you don't have to mischaracterize it to make it shit.
At the end of the day,
you're an asshole. Get on with it.
We, particularly in the West, particularly in America, we want to stamp our feet. We want to say we want to say what we want to say, and then we don't want to have any consequences for it.
What the fuck? So you're signing up for consequence culture? This asshole is describing the lead up to cancel culture on campuses everywhere. Like, what the hell?
Right. So when she gets encouraged to resign, she's like, well, the university threw me under the bus, and I didn't, I'm tenured, and I should be allowed to. Eric, we have lost our grip on sanity, and until
you two have, certainly.
We do. I don't think any of us are going to have a happy Thanksgiving.
That's right. Bring back cancel culture. Thanks, Kevin. Wow. Back to you in the studio, Eric Matax ass.
Or a Merry Christmas, if that's the world that we continue to want to see develop around us.
Yeah, you don't really want a Merry Christmas. You don't want a Merry Christmas, okay? You say you want a Merry Christmas, but you do not want a Merry Christmas.
Well, it is hard to believe
that you're supporting cancel culture?
Frankly.
Is that his name? I didn't catch it. I thought it was Kevin McCullough.
I mean, a lot of what we've seen in the last few years is hard to believe.
Yeah, totally. I mean, on your network, yeah.
Let's be honest, that the world.
Yeah, totally.
The world we grew up in has changed very dramatically, very quickly, and it takes time.
No, it hasn't. Wait a minute. You're going to take Russia being an aggressor in the world, China being an aggressor in the world, the Israeli and Palestinians being in yet another broken ceasefire, exchange of atrocities, as it were, and you're going to act like that shit is new? Didn't you motherfuckers call Biden the second coming of Jimmy Carter, for shit's sake?
Time to process what you're seeing. I mean, when I heard that governors are putting COVID patients in nursing homes and that old people are dying, I said, whoa. That can't be right. That can't be right.
They're putting COVID patients in old folks' homes, and it's the idea that the people who, they're isolating people who had COVID, and this was in New York, I think.
Even my worst political enemy, Andrew Cuomo, or what,
right.
they're not going to do that. Yeah, they did that.
Oh, no, they made the case that moving these folks out of the old folks home and not treating them there because there was no vaccine for it and there was no surefire treatment for it, quite frankly, that it was best to leave them there as opposed to moving them to some other facility. Whereas, indeed, if they had tested positive or had tested negative falsely, you move them in town and they catch it for real.
On and on and on.
Also, yes, the idea that someone on a biblical channel would be confused when God sends a plague, right, Greg?
We've been seeing things, the election fraud. Honestly, I'll never forget, waking up the next morning and go, wait a minute, Trump.
Wait a minute. I backed the loser. I might have to rethink the bullshit story I've been telling myself.
Was ahead. What's going on? And
You mean the part where they were counting the mail-in ballots, which were largely Democratic? Because there was this big thing about going out in public during the pandemic that was an even political divide in the country. Stupid.
And then you're told, no, we can't talk about it. Don't
Yeah, you can talk about it. You can ask all the questions you want, but asserting that it was stolen became a problem.
talk about it. On and on and on.
Yeah, exactly. You misread you can ask all the fucking questions you want, but you can't make statements and say I'm just asking questions, asshole. Yeah, right. Remember hanging chads? Yeah, we weren't even able to question that. I don't even remember questioning that.
Can't even
How dare you put a question mark after hanging chads?
ask questions about it.
Horrible things happen. And it is, I can understand how some people they don't want to go there. They don't want to deal with it, but it's good to deal with it, folks.
It is good to deal with it. It is. You're not dealing with it. You're just kind of denying it, which is literally the opposite of dealing with it.
It's good to see what is happening and to know,
That Trump lost for real and he was not reinstated like you guys prophesied he would.
to know what is really happening. What happened in Israel is one of those things. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You know, that's the way you look at it. It's one of those things.
You can't imagine that can happen.
Yes, you can. Jesus Christ, it's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. What can't you imagine would happen?
But wait, it gets worse.
And also, why is this a crisis of imagination? Just because you're an unimaginative twerp does not mean the rest of us have that problem.
There are people in America
That's true. All right, at least we have one fact in this show.
chanting, "Kill the Jews."
Right. But did you get this upset in Charlottesville with the whole Jews will not replace us? Or the blood and soil chants? I don't remember you getting upset about that.
You think
Same shit.
it's one thing for that to happen over there, but for people in America to think that it might be okay to talk about that after we've had decades of learning about the Holocaust. We've got a Holocaust museum, and we have
Yeah, asked and answered, I thought. And then, what do you know? Charlottesville, bunch of guys walking around yelling, Jews will not replace us. And it's almost like it started to get a toehold.
Steven Spielberg makes Schindler's List, and we have
Right, that usually did it. Kind of how like, they made Roots and it was on TV in the 70s, and then in Eritrea today there's slavery. It's weird.
all of these things, and that we're at a place in America where it is possible that people would do that. It's very hard to process, Kevin. It's just hard to process.
If I may, that's because you're dumb. I mean, these are complex issues, and part of processing it is recognizing that that processing them, especially on the fly, is an impossibility, and therefore you can cast it aside as something outside your intellectual responsibility, because there are too many moving parts to even figure out where it's going to end up. And until it ends up in one particular place, you can't have an impact on it, because it won't. In this country, it will affect who you vote for and why, in theory. Or it just frankly shouldn't. You guys have already made up your fucking mind. And I don't know, like, I come on the air every day trying to make sure that I ignite at least a little bit of humor and fire in people to guarantee that they're going to vote next time. That's my driving point. Vote.org. That's not theirs. They don't kind of give a shit if people vote or not. They're not committed to the Democratic idea, period. They think it's antithetical to what they ultimately want to pull off, and they would rather have an electoral college-run country. So, of course they're confused. Of course you get up every day and you're trying to figure out how to make sense of all this shit. I don't have to. I know exactly why I do what I do.
It is, but
Vote blue.
I also think that I always kind of see these things as tied to larger kind of amplification of biblical truths too.
Well, you'd have to, because if you don't have that arm on the side of the pool, what are you going to do? Swim on your own?
And we know, if you read, Paul's second letter to Timothy, that towards the end of it, he talks about how bad things are going to be at the end of time.
And yeah, they've never been bad before.
And that, part of what's going to happen is that men are going to delude themselves, are going to deceive themselves. Part of what's going to happen is.
Yeah, thank God. Like, I don't even remember a time when men would delude themselves. Has that ever even happened? God, I don't even know how to talk about not being able to process something.
That men were going to be lovers more of what they want than what is true.
And they'll elect some sort of like golden calf fatso god like Donald Trump, who is the patron saint of self-involved shittery.
Which ultimately is a rejection of God. If you're
Right. Yeah. I agree. Voting for Trump is a rejection of God. Please continue.
putting it into the framework of a worldview, and
Yeah, which I think we should.
in seeing it kind of come to life around me, I don't know whether to be excited or completely filled with anxiety, because I don't know how bad it gets before God says, okay, it's time, everybody out of the pool, let's go, safety break, we're done. But
I see. So this asshole is not interested in going through the tribulation part. He just wants to be raptured automatically. It is the essence of his entire faith is, if I can pretend to believe this stuff hard enough, I will be at the front of the line when God pulls everyone's ripcord. And they'll just yank me the fuck out of here so fast my clothes will be in a pile on the floor and I'll be naked in heaven holding a harp in seconds. That's it. That's his belief system. Because if he has to process it and go through the depth of life aspect of the tribulation, where people come to the idea that there's a possible salvation, which is an allegory for getting along, he's not interested at all.
I'm hoping that we're closer to that day than we might have thought we were previously. But in the meantime,
Again, that's how time works.
my kids are 13, 10, and 8.
And so you just wake up every day and scare the fuck out of them?
I'm trying to help them make sense of the world around them.
Yes, and you're doing a terrible job. I could just trust that that's happening. If what you've said tonight is any indication, I weep for them.
And try to put into perspective the worldview that we hold in the McCullough family, and that's based on our theological understanding of God being in charge and we're not.
The world sucks, and it's a cesspool of violence, degradation, and evil. But any day now, God's going to snap his fingers, and we're all going to be in the big, nudie farm in the sky. Doesn't that sound nice? Why are they crying, Marge? Marge, why are they crying? Give them a juice box. I'm going back out to the shed. You're always on that computer out there. What are you doing? None of your goddamn business. And stop trying to look at my browser history. Taggity, taggity, tag. Squirt, squirt.
And it drives me bonkers.
Short trip.
When someone who is as privileged and has such a place of position as a professor at
a place of position. Very nice.
Wake Forest University can say, well, I think I'd be willing to blow up Jewish kids at a concert as well. And then so she says it, that's one thing. She says it out loud. She puts it on her Twitter. She makes that, and she's, well.
By the way, I didn't see this reference, if anybody knows the direct one in this. But again, also, the point of somebody saying that is that if you were brainwashed in this, you'd probably come to the same conclusion. If your life was limited to these kind of options, that is the conclusion you would come to. You would feel differently about it. That's the point. That is why it's important that when we're in a democracy and we do have options, that we don't play in that sandbox.
I want to be raw and poetic and all the rest of it. Okay, you're raw and poetic, and we raw and poetically understand that you are a jerk who wants to see nothing wrong with assassinating innocent people. We get it. I just don't think that we're ready at this point in society to say, yes, you can say whatever you want and you can put it out there, but you're going to get a pass on all of it all the time. And I hope that we're not at that point.
Jesus Christ. What do you think Elon Musk bought shitter for?
I hope that we're not at the point where we say it's just a free-for-all no matter what the moral component is.
Well,
you do realize who you're talking to, right?
To me, one of the takeaways of that is, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any idea
what these two assholes are talking about?
Idiots are professors at colleges in America.
Well, for the record, those women were all former professors. They're all the presidents of the college. They don't teach at the college. They have an oversight position as the president of the university. But they're not exactly indicative of the entire thought form at the school. The idea is that you have somebody there who's, that much of a reed that can bend in the wind, they're going to give more flexibility to a bunch of people.
You have any idea?
In theory.
These are professors
No, they were the presidents of they were former professors.
at prestigious colleges, and they are absolute idiots is a very kind word for people who can think those thoughts, verbalize those thoughts publicly. Utterly astonishing. These people are professors teaching your kids. You might want to think about whether you want to send your kids to these schools.
Also, they are technically your children still their whole lives, but they're not your kids. These are college age adults.
Even if it were free, I think I would skip it.
I don't
Look, dude, you don't need to tell any of us that if higher education was an option, you'd skip it. We get it. This is just another sort of like stake in the heart of education that these guys are always pushing for. It's just another version of it. They're 18 to 22-year-olds plus. Yeah, and exactly. Both of these idiots said nothing about the Charlottesville chanters saying Jews will not replace us. Now, there's a let's see. Yeah. So let's we haven't seen Rudy in a while. And can I just say kudos to Jake Tapper, who he's a little hit and miss. But one of his hits recently was when he had Jamie Comer on, or was it Comer? I don't think it was. It was somebody. He did have Comer on, but he had somebody else on. Anyways, they were talking about the Hunter Biden laptop idea, and he was like, we wanted to see the laptop. We wanted to see the whole hard drive, and Rudy wouldn't give it to us. Rudy wouldn't let us have it. He would only send us like printouts of shit. We couldn't verify it or check it out. We asked for it, and there was like a day and a half when you couldn't see it on, like conversations about it on Shitter. And the New York Post story about it turned out to be a complete work of fiction. But that was the point. That's what an October surprise is for, is dump something into the public zeitgeist so it starts funneling through the news cycle, and by the time people figure out it's bullshit or it doesn't have the weight that you originally presented it as, or that it was manufactured, or it's not exactly it's misinformation or disinformation in either form. Well, I guess technically if you're putting it in there as disinformation, but other people would be furthering the misinformation. They're batting it forward because it's in line with their cul-de-sac of beliefs. In those situations, that an October surprise only works in that context. If you release that shit in June or April, people can look it up and go, oh, this is all bullshit. So, speaking of, this is all bullshit, Rudy Giuliani, and I like the title of this one, I have to say, Giuliani, Biden and Ray keep me up at night. Yeah, you look like you haven't slept. And also, Ray is a Trump appointee. Man, Christopher Wray was appointed by Trump. Christopher Wray is a Trump appointee. He got out Comey and he replaced him with Christopher Wray. Christopher Wray is a Trump appointee. He's appointed by Trump. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time.
Would you say that there's multiple blinking red lights out there?
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
Yeah, that's kind of his job as the head of the FBI too.
And that is.
Oh my God, I don't know what it was, but I was almost like prepared for Rudy, and then that caught me off guard. That I didn't. I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys okay. That one got me.
Is a grim new warning out from the FBI Director Christopher Wray that America is now in the highest threat environment due to our very dangerous open southern border and some very bad actors overseas.
Yeah, that's why. He was talking about domestic threats, by the way. So
joining us now is the former New York City mayor.
God damn, 2 jump scares in a row.
There he is, my friend, the great Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor. You know, Rudy, before we get to what Ray said, I want to get your take, of course, about every.
And of course, before that, police car that's pulling up at your building carries you away.
Thing that happened with Hunter Biden, because I know that you have been calling for charges to be brought for some time. Do you believe, first off, that the wheels of justice are finally turning against?
I have to speak very loudly because I can hear the alarm in the background. Can you hear that? Can someone please fix
The
that?
Biden family.
I don't. I believe this indictment is a sucker indictment. Let's face it.
Isn't Rudy Italian? I don't know. Maybe he's doing it as a show of sport, doing the whole like put your menorah in the window as a show of sport. That's fine.
An enormous amount of money. He's being charged for what he spent. He's not being charged for how he received it.
Right, because it's not a crime.
How he received it is the biggest scandal in American history.
Yeah, but scandals aren't crimes.
It's being covered up.
No, it's not. We know precisely where the money came from.
All that money, or much of it, came from enemies of the United States.
Oh, you mean the one that that Trump had dinner with the leader of that country, and his daughter suddenly got a bunch of trademarks to make money off of, in that, or are you talking about the country that Trump had meetings with the leader with no note takers present and only their translators, and came out looking like he just had a colonoscopy? That country, or
Red China?
Red China,
Ukraine,
as opposed to the was it like magenta China while Trump was blowing smoke up Xi's ass?
A diplomat who was pro-Russian, by the way.
Sorry, run that again.
A Ukrainian diplomat who was pro-Russian, by the way, a pro-Putin diplomat. No one makes that point.
Who are we talking about?
And from the wife of one of the mayor of Moscow, one of Putin's.
That was for Devin Archer.
Closest allies.
No, the mayor was, until he got busted for corruption, and then he ended up. What happens to people who are corrupt and caught and are trying to squeeze money out of Vladimir Putin's pocket? What happens to those folks in general? I don't remember.
So the bulk of that money is bribery money for the vice president of the United States to.
It's bribery money. I agree.
Sell out this country,
and by doing what?
And you can
by supporting Ukraine. If the diplomat, work with me on this one, because you dropped this diplomat is pro-Russia. If the diplomat that paid him is pro-Russia, then why would Biden be backing Ukraine this whole time? You're better off saying it's just old-fashioned, like the Ukrainians are trying to leverage a politician for their own protection. But then that makes him like he was already in support of Ukraine. So I guess that fucks with the whole thing. Also, the mayor of Moscow's wife, again, was married to one of Putin's allies who ended up dead because you're an ally until you're not. And that money went to Devin Archer. Also, the guy, Yi Jianming, who gave $5 million to Hunter Biden as seed money for this bigger deal that never actually came off, also bought a Trump Tower apartment for $5 million and never set foot in it.
Look to the favors that Biden then did. For example,
okay.
The woman that gave the $3.5 million is one of the top oligarchs in Russia. She's the only one not sanctioned.
Under Trump?
5 times by Joe Biden. Now, he's had dinner with her twice. But, of course, the crooked press never points that out.
Yeah, I'd like to see a picture. I feel like you're just making that shit up, that he's had dinner with her twice. Is she his side piece? Also, she's not an oligarch. Her husband was, and he's dead.
This case is not about him paying taxes, not paying taxes, whatever.
Yeah, it is. It's only about that.
This is about selling out the United States, really, for 30 years. And Hunter says it best, and it's left out of the indictment.
And you.
Oh, the whole, like, do you have to give me your money, the same shit, the same 3 fucking, again, 416 gigabytes of information on the fucking hard drive that Rudy was fucking slathering all over the goddamn place. And we're going to go back to 3 fucking iMessages?
You are right, Rudy, that...
No, I like Judy. Judy Giuliani.
Left out of the indictment.
And you are right, Judy.
That's right, you are right, Judy. Judy.
Rudy, that you
Rudy.
look at no
fresh and
era, no foreign agent lobbying, no money laundering. Those statutes expired, as you know. So is this just to sort of save face for David Weiss, or what is this about, real quick?
Oh, sure. This is to escape jail for David Weiss. I mean, David Weiss has fixed the case, just like Comey did before him. And they
for Trump,
they all do it because nobody's ever held accountable. Comey should have been prosecuted 4 years ago for fixing the Hillary Clinton case.
For fixing the Hillary Clinton case. Oh, you mean by not finding enough grounds to bust her and not just making some shit up?
She was guilty as sin.
Judy, come on.
I mean, fixing cases used to be a serious crime when I was a prosecutor.
Yeah, but you managed to dodge it. And by the way, how much did the Russians and the Chinese pay you for that?
Now, I mean, everybody in the Justice Department does it.
Yeah, it's right. It's standard. Like I guess that was the big change that Trump made.
And look, they have the Republican candidate for president ready to go on trial in 4 places.
Right. For the record, 6. But you're only talking about the indictments. He's also got other personal. This motherfucker was engaged in like a multi-level marketing scheme with these fucking video phones on The Apprentice.
All of them with Democrat DAs, all of them in crooked Democratic cities.
Right. Which, for the record, is also where all the money, coffee, sex, and conversation is.
Except the federal case.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For things that are not even crimes. And we can't bring...
Oh, you mean like scandals?
...a charge against Biden.
You know, Rudy, you're right. You're right. There sure seems to be
individual pieces.
No, you guys should talk over each other. This is good. I was about to say for a second, this sounds like shit, but I take it back. It's great.
This is evidence that he committed the biggest bribe in the history of the United States. Also, the biggest bribe in the history of Ukraine.
Well, and also, Rudy, the double standards.
The bribe to his president.
I agree with you. There does seem to be clearly a double standard.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. What was the bribe for? Seriously. I mean, if you're gonna accuse him of getting anything but like a gift from somebody, which again, the $5 million is made up. Honest to God, literally, it's what Zlochevsky paid he paid $5 million in cash to a tax guy in Ukraine to try and like do an end run around a lot of the charges on him. He tried to bribe this guy with $5 million cash. That's the story that they carried, and then they basically reworked the emails to make it Biden, whatever. That's fine. I don't give a shit. You could sell this, but my question is, what'd they get in exchange?
The way all of this is working. I want to make sure we also get to the other topic.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you could stay on this all night
because we have so many important things.
Yeah, so many important things, way more important
with
than
you this morning.
Sure.
The FBI's also stark warning, Rudy. You know this all too well. As the mayor of New York on 9/11, and you did
9/11. That's true. He's also he was also the mayor who had the great idea after the bombing at the World Trade Center to move the response headquarters, the Office of Emergency Response, into the trade centers, like basically right where the bombing happened.
Such an amazing job during, I think, one of the
amazing, so amazing, because most people would have just shit the bed and cried and not said anything.
Most horrific times, obviously, in America. What goes through your mind? And the reason this week,
I'm gonna say not a lot.
We hit a historic high, and it's not something to be bragging about. 12,000 migrant encounters on our southern border.
Yeah,
it's the biggest one-day high. How worried are you?
Well, they're very brown, these people.
Not only am I worried, when I see Christopher Wray there, I say to myself, we have no defense. I mean,
the fuck does Christopher Wray have to do with it? He's not the head of the fucking Border Patrol.
You think he's the head of the FBI? You got one thing. I've seen heads of FBI. This guy is
a
complete crook.
Hold on. Christopher Wray is, quote, a complete crook, and he's not the head of the FBI. And this has to do with the border, like how?
I mean, he should have been working on this 3 years ago. And he still won't say why it happens. It happens because Biden invites him in.
Really? Does he mail out? Do they get it in the mail? Is it a card? What do they have to? Do they get a special like coupon?
Biden has the door open like this. We don't even make an attempt to stop the terrorists from coming in to bomb us. And
also, yeah, he's using an SM58. Is that a 58 there? I don't know why. It's very strange. It looks like it. It's hard to tell. But if it's wide open, what's this shit? And why are they lined up to be processed? Also, it's Judy.
This flunky of Biden.
This flunky of Biden. Wow. It must have been, I can't imagine. Can you imagine how Biden felt when he was thinking about running for office? He's like, I'm not sure if I'll run. Wait, excuse me. Trump just appointed one of my flunkies? That I'm definitely running now.
Tells us that the lights are going off all over the place. Hey, crook, those lights were going off 3 years ago.
During the Trump administration?
Maybe you could have done something about it then. But if something happens in this country, it is right on him and Biden.
Again, these people are standing single file. I gotta say, you might want to just pick other footage. I know there's footage of people sneaking through the wall, and I know there's footage of people like, caravans south of there or whatever. But I just gotta say, especially when you're on the fucking Mexico side of the wall, which they are.
Because what they could have done 3 years ago, they didn't do. They let the Taliban come in, they let ISIS, whatever remains of it, come in, and now they're letting the new ones come in. And
the new ones. Well, I mean, they already let the Taliban and the ISIS.
Iran has a straight passage into New York. And 3/4 of the Chinese that come into New York are wearing suits, and they're military-age men.
What? Well, they're not wearing, like, officers' uniforms, are they?
And the Chinese are not spying on us, and they own our president. And that guy, who's the FBI director, has covered that up for 4 years. Now,
4 years? Hold on. So for 4 years, military-age Chinese people have been crossing even during COVID? And why did Trump look the other way? Was it the trade deal? It was because was it phase 1 or phase 2?
That's a crime.
I honestly don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
It is amazing.
It is amazing that you can just kind of conflate 5 different things into one sentence, and this lady's just like, okay.
As you just talked about the Chinese, I was saying, I think it's last year, it's been 26,000 Chinese, also many from Syria, many from Iraq.
Chinese people from Syria and Iraq?
Many from a lot of these countries that we are deeply concerned about. Rudy, what keeps you up at night now? Is it the lone
Because you obviously look like you haven't been sleeping.
wolf? Is it someone from Hamas? Is it internal? What is it? Because, the one thing I thought was stunning, and we just heard it from Director Wray, he's saying that is all these blinking lights all at the same time, and he's never sort of seen it. As you know all too well, sometimes it's in one or two directions. Now it's like a fire alarm, and that's scary for America.
If he's never seen it, he should quit. He could have seen it 3 years ago.
Well, again, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, what the Russians are doing, driving some of the people who are coming to the border, and specifically, and who aren't dangerous themselves, but are creating stacking the numbers. But whatever.
I can assure you, if I were there as Attorney General or Director,
Trump would still be in office, and we'd have suspended habeas corpus, and we'd have martial law.
The FBI, this would not be going on. I'll also assure you, if any honest, reasonable, sensible person were there, and not a crook, it wouldn't be.
How is Ray a fucking crook? What? Again, Trump appointee.
Going on. This is a direct result of having a criminal for president, a career criminal for president, and
Oh, you mean the guy that? You mean Trump, because he's the guy that put Ray in office.
For FBI director, who has fixed more cases. I mean, the guy shouldn't even be allowed on television. He keeps me up at night because we don't.
Wait a minute, you're for the suspension of freedom of speech? Like, he shouldn't be allowed on television on the American airway? So you want to suspend the First Amendment? Interesting.
Don't have an adequate defense against this. We are defenseless. They have plenty on their side, but with a demented president.
Do they? Who's they again?
And an FBI director who's covered up some of the biggest crimes in the history of the country.
Well, if obviously, I guess he gave Trump a head start.
Who's defending us?
Well, that is a very scary premise.
Yeah, it's very scary. And now tell her about your court cases.
Rudy, as you bring up, boy, are we vulnerable with all of these different elements.
These elements. And by elements, I mean brown people.
Rudy, thank you very much, America's
Thank
mayor.
you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for coming in here and making us all sweat and stare at the ceiling, worrying about brown people crawling through our window and hitting us with hammers.
That's Rudy. We always appreciate it.
We do. It's so fun. Now, next up, let's just move on. Anyways, it's horrible and the world is falling apart and Joe Biden is in charge and Trump will never be president again. And I'm in hell, a personal hell. Hello. Jesus Christ. Now, real quick, I'm going to, let's go back to the chat room. Hi, chat room. Love you guys hanging in there real quick. If I may. Get that out of here. And there was now there might be, here we go. This is a short one. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Judge Janine. Yeah, there she is. Honk. And she goes, she's concerned about what's missing from Hunter's latest indictment. So let's hear about it. It's only a couple of minutes, so.
Now here with more co-host of the hit show, The Five, our great friend, Judge Janine Pirro, the one and only. Judge, put on your legal hat for a minute here. And
yes, you do still have it, right? It's the one with the pinwheel on top.
Let's look at Joe Biden himself in all of this. And the amount of money, if it wasn't for Joe Biden, none of this money would be coming in. What are your thoughts? How does this get back to?
Okay, the money that Hunter's making wouldn't be coming in. It would be coming into somebody. Maybe the idea is that it wouldn't be Hunter.
To him.
Well, first of all, we have to understand.
Yeah, you guys, you got to understand. Let's explain it to me.
This is an indictment where by the same guy who tried to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and literally take this case for a plea negotiation.
Like it would be for anybody else in this tax picture, especially if they paid the money already.
Into a court where a judge said, hey, wait a minute, has the Department of Justice ever done this before?
And they go, yeah, we do it all the time.
And they had to reach back and say, no, we've never done it before. They were trying.
Well, they've never charged a president's son over this kind of bullshit before.
Trying to hide
they do it. The average citizen wouldn't have this
tax
problem.
Charges in a plea agreement involving a gun for which Hunter at that point wasn't even charged. So if
yeah, but for the record, you're on the Fox News channel where they believe anyone who wants a gun should have one at any time, even if they have had a psychotic break and have threatened the lives of their family, friends, and strangers.
you think there's anything on the straight and narrow, the up and up about this indictment, you're wrong.
Well, it involves crack and hookers. I don't think anybody thinks that so just the indictment, not the charges. I see.
The only thing about this indictment, it's nothing more than what we've heard about. We already knew that he was someone who was involved with hookers and whores and all kinds of human.
Wait a minute. First of all, in most parlance, those are the same thing. Also, we don't really use the second word that often. That's kind of just mean-spirited. Even hooker's a bit strange. It's sex worker, please.
Trafficking and all kinds of money spent on exotic cars, hotels, and rental properties.
Rental properties? What? Hold on. Run that by me. Exotic cars. These are the charges, are they?
And all kinds of money spent on exotic cars, hotels, and rental properties.
So I'm glad we're making a difference between a discernment between rental properties and hotels.
But this new indictment doesn't say much more than what we already knew.
Right, because there isn't anything else to know. You do realize the entire hard drive is available for anyone to peruse.
What's missing, and no
is crimes?
Surprise, since they tried to get away with a plea deal of the century, says nothing about his being a foreign agent. It says nothing about human trafficking.
Well, also you can't be a foreign agent unless you're lobbying someone. And his dad at the time of the CEFC deal was not a public figure. Well, I mean, he's a known public figure, but he wasn't a public employee. He was not an employee of the federal government. He was retired. So you can't lobby someone who isn't in government anymore.
Nothing about money laundering.
Right, because they have no reason to believe that actually happened.
And Joe Biden is involved in this, and I'll tell you how.
All right, finally, this is it. Okay, excellent. This is what's missing from it. How is he involved? Let's do it.
Hunter Biden is profiting off of his father's name.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So explain Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric to me. That's it? Joe's involved because his son is profiting off of his own last name. So his crime was fucking Hunter's mom 48 years ago.
We know from Bobolinsky, Devin Archer, that there were meetings at the Cafe Marmont or whatever it is in Los Angeles. We know that there are
Cafe Marmont.
327 emails where Joe Biden is using a pseudonym directly in contact with Eric Schwerwin because they're talking about business. And we've got emails that are occurring exactly at the time when the Ukrainian deal is going down, and Joe Biden goes over there and says, if you don't get rid of the prosecutor on this company my son's on, you're not getting $1 billion in a...
Yeah, but again, we've been through the Shokin thing a dozen times. The plan to get rid of Shokin was already in place when the alleged phone call was made from Dubai, where they were like, we need to reach out to somebody in D.C. to try and keep Shokin in there, was the idea, because they knew that the next guy would actually go after Zlochevsky for corruption, and Shokin was actually on the take. And if they did make a phone call, it specifically shows Joe did not change his plans based on that phone call. I've shown this before, and I don't like that I have to go back to this again. I don't like it, chat room. I don't. I've got to, honestly, I'm very upset, but I've got to bring this up. Hold on one moment, if I may. And you go over to here, and we try to here, and off we go, and pop that in there. And I'm going to open something up right now. And what you'll see is John Solomon, who's a big Trump sycophant and runs the Just the News website, has been sort of running. I guess he works with the Marco Polo guys, and they've been posting everything from the Hunter Biden laptop, the alleged laptop that that magically was at Keith Ablow's house and then found its way to there. Wake up already! God damn it! Hold on, I'm waiting for this to bullshit detector. I like that. CSL. Hold on one second. I'm gonna close this and then I'll reopen it. Maybe that'll do it. It's being weird. Open, you silly thing. You silly doggy. Flicker, flicker, flicker. All right, hold on. This is what happens. I just gotta wait. I gotta wait for the thing to open. That's all I'm doing. It's the nature of my situation. Hold on one second. And the easy thing is just to find it on my laptop while this thing is opening up, and then I'll just hold it up to the screen, and we'll see it again. And it's just gonna. So there's a. I started my own thing where I was like, okay, searching. Search. Shokin. Here we go. So, yeah, here it is. This is from Just the News. I'll as soon as the page opens up, I'll show you directly. But this is a Department of State itinerary for Joe Biden that was posted by John Solomon, the guy who puts up all the. Let's see. I'll see if I can send this to. How about this? If I send it to. If I open it in. Oh, I know what I can do. I'll send it to there. Yeah. I'm gonna email it to myself on this computer, and then go, you silly thing. And then we go to here, and Solomon, that's good. To and they send this here, and then it's sending it, and then once it pops up on this thing, I will open it, and it'll be fabulous. Very excited. Chat room, and then I want to show you this because very specifically, there we go. We'll go to, is this, yes, it is. That is, I just had to make sure it was Chrome that I was using is this type of thing. And opening the thing. I don't know why it is like being weird today. Notion, wake up, you silly thing. And let's see, that's that. And stretch this out here. Is that Chrome? Yes, it is. Hold on. There we go. And then opening something up. Give me a second. Because they posted this. It's themselves. There we go. Excellent. And fabulous. Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, because what do I do? What do I do? I fix shit. That's what I do. This is from the U.S. Department of State. The date on it, Monday, November 23rd, 2015. This is before the alleged phone call about getting Shokin fired that they talk about. There. Okay. This is the goals and meetings. This is from November 22nd, 2015. This is sensitive but unclassified. John Solomon posted this. This is a right-winger posting this. This is not, somebody crafting a document to try to hide this. They think this is dunking material. The phone call allegedly happened the first week of December before the trip that happened. This was the itinerary for the trip they were setting up for December 7th and 8th. Okay? December 4th was the alleged phone call that was like, you got to get this guy fired. These are the notes on what the meeting's going to be about, November 22nd, 2015. Unity and reforms. You should recommend that he give a State of the Nation speech to the Rada in which he re-energizes efforts to roll out new reforms. There is wide agreement. Here it is. There's wide agreement that that anti-corruption must be at the top of the list and that reforms must include an overhaul of the Prosecutor General's office, including removal of Prosecutor General Shokin, who is widely regarded as an obstacle to fighting corruption, if not a source of the problem. This is the notes from November 22nd, 2015, before the fucking phone call that they're talking about happened, before the phone call she's talking about that Janine is bringing up. And like, Jim Jordan brings this up all the time. He made the phone, and a couple days later, the president flies to Ukraine and carries out whatever they asked him to do. And that's what I did. Okay. All that shit happened after that itinerary was released, which was, by the way, in line with all the previous ones, and they've been trying to get Shokin kicked to the curb for a while. And he was given leeway enough to go there and go, look, this is the third installment of money. You've been saying you're going to get rid of this motherfucker. Do it or you're not getting this. That's why the entire, CFR panel discussion that Biden's on tape having, where he says, I'm gonna call the president if you don't give us this billion, and Biden goes, call him. That's when this whole bullshit dies.
American money. That is corruption per se.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, hold on.
When the Ukrainian deal is going down and Joe Biden goes over there and says, if you don't get rid of the prosecutor on this company my son's on, you're not getting $1 billion in American money. That is corruption per se.
Hey,
that is corruption per se, as you do. No, it is not. No, it is not. You big dummy, per se. I don't know how many times, this is beginning to feel like I got to keep this thing on Snap. I'm gonna have to put this document in like a button that I could bring up at any time, because this horse shit happens all the time. This also, by the way, if you'll notice, the next thing in it about U.S. assistance is about, after that is the implementation of the Minsk agreement. You should relay to Poroshenko that President Obama told President Putin at the G20 summit that he insists on full implementation of the Minsk agreements. And this was between him and Putin, which, by the way, Putin violated. The president agrees with Quint leaders that the EU should renew its sanctions on Russia for 6 months to be followed by another 6 months extension, and if Russia and the separatists do not honor their Minsk commitments, which they didn't do. In the past few weeks, combined Russian separatist forces have ratcheted up attacks on Ukrainian positions with reports of new weapons and personnel entering separatist territory from Russia. Russia and the separatists also continue to deny OSCE monitors access and to block the delivery of humanitarian supplies by UN agencies and NGOs. Sound fucking familiar? Are you shocked now that that Russia is siding with Hamas, who stole and or blocked UN aid into Gaza? Yeah, per se. Fucking per se. Say per se again. All right. That said, I got to bug out. Love you guys. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'll see you tomorrow. Regular show in the afternoon. It is, tomorrow's show will be relatively high and tight, as it is my girlfriend's son's birthday, and we're taking him out to dinner. So we celebrated over the weekend, but his actual birthday is tomorrow. So we're going to go have that dinner. But I will be able to have a regular show because it's 3 to 5 my time, and we'll be good. And love you guys, and that's awesome. And look, the one thing, if there is something to worry about in all of this stuff, it's probably the kidney. But maybe not. I mean, who can say?
Time.
Subscribe, everybody. Subscribe.